Hi, I'm here with Arthur, the Zombie King. So, Arthur, you've got some amazing artwork here. I mean, I see the Hulk, I see pretty much the Avengers Squad, Superman, Deadpool. Can you tell me a little bit about your artwork and how did you come up with all this, all this ideas of how to, paint something in so many different ways?
Zombified. Yeah, I'm actually. They call me the Zombie King. Because basically, I started out working on a series called Marvel Zombies from Marvel Comics. It became one of the best sellers of all time, biggest hits. And then following that, I did two other series. I did Raise the Dead, and I did Army of Darkness vs. Marvel Zombies, and then Fanboys vs. Zombies. And it's actually what started this whole zombie phenomenon, which was kind of like when the Beatles came over, all those bands from England came over, the Rolling Stones and the Animals, and it started like a zombie phenomenon in the United States. And everybody just started to become crazy about zombies, and then everybody else started to jump on our bandwagon. Brad Pitt jumped on our bandwagon. Plants vs. Zombies jumped on our bandwagon. World War Z, on and on. Toyota started putting zombies in their car commercials. So this is where it started. It really started with Marvel Zombies. I'm classically trained. My training is 16th century Dutch and Italian, so I'm really trained to paint religious art. But I'm actually from the East Village. That's like the pop culture, one of the pop culture hubs in the world. It's where Andy Warhol comes from, where punk music, new wave music, rap music, all that fashion, all the poetry, and the great literature all comes from the West Village and the East Village. Okay. So I'm from there. I'm the latest export from the East Village in New York City, and I do the zombies.
Okay. And so I want to ask you. So so it's in addition to creating these fantastic paintings,
Yeah.
you're involved with Marvel and DC, right?
Right.
So
Correct,
can you talk a little bit about your involvement and what is it that you do with them?
Yeah, I'm a freelancer, so I work for everybody. For the last 10 years, I've been working primarily with Marvel. I think back in 2006, they wanted me to sign an exclusive contract with them, so I signed an exclusive contract with them. And they started to throw me all their horror titles, so I kind of became the go-to guy for horror stuff. So when anybody has a horror title, I'm kind of the guy they come to. So now DC right now, I'm working on the new DC series for DC Comics. That's the big thing in comics right now. Here's one of them right here. Yeah, I'll show this here.
Okay.
This is the cover issue number 2 of Deceased. And so I like working for Marvel. Yeah, they're pretty. The management is pretty good. They give you time to do your best work, and the checks arrive on time, and the characters tend to be more developed than the superhero characters for other companies. They put a lot more, when they were creating the characters, a lot more thought went into it, and then over the years, the writers working on the Marvel characters have did some good work on developing the characters for the series. So it's a lot of fun working on that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And let me just ask you one more question. So let's say, for example, something like this masterpiece over here with the Hulk and Avengers. How long does it take for you to create something like this?
Yeah, we call this the Hulk pile. This was from Marvel Zombies Returns. It was one of the covers. My average for working on a cover is about 3 weeks. These are all oil paintings and gouache paintings. Half of them are gouache paintings, half of them are oil paintings, depending on how many characters are in it. So if a cover has more than two characters on it, the more characters there are, the longer it takes me. So for instance, the Superman one that I just showed you, that guy's like the entire DC universe in it. That thing took me 4 months to paint that cover.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay.
So that's my average. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Arthur, thanks so much, and Arthur, the Zombie King.
Good talk with you. Good
yeah,
talk
and
with you.
thank you for showing us your
my
fantastic
pleasure,
work. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Thanks so much.
Greetings from Virginia.
And that's it. Yeah.
Good job, man. Good
So
job.
yeah, thanks. So we'll edit all that stuff, make it more beautiful and whatnot. I'm here with Billy Mitchell. He is the video game player of the century. So Billy, I saw that there was a viral video that was on YouTube or maybe even other online outlets about you having a perfect score on Pac-Man. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Correct. A perfect score on Pac-Man is every dot, every energizer, every prize, every board, all 4 blue men, 256 boards, never dying once. 4, 5 hours, gameplay, something like that. That was in 1999. I'm going to do it again here shortly because it's the 20th anniversary. But the fact of the matter is, it was me versus a Canadian friend, and he's a nice guy, but we got to keep it home here in the USA.
Yeah. But you're better. You're better.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much.
So let me ask you, how long did it take you to achieve something like that?
Well, as far as the actual gameplay, it was a little over 5 hours. But as a kid, I played it feverishly. A kid, you have no responsibilities. You could play video games 40 hours a week and get away with it. As an adult, you never could. Luckily, I did it when I was a kid, or I achieved that skill level as a kid. Then in 1999, when it was on its 20th anniversary of Pac-Man, when there was a resurgence or a reinterest in video games, just like there is in a car that's a classic, I simply said, wow, I think I still got it. And I practiced for a little bit, and then I actually went to execute it. And I actually didn't know if I could execute it. I didn't know how long it would take. I bought a plane ticket to the world's largest arcade, Fun Spot, and I didn't buy a return ticket because I just told my wife, I said, I'm going to stay there till I get it, which took 2 days, and I got it. So
Wow.
great.
Oh, that's amazing. So Billy, if you could maybe summarize through a few words for some of the younger players coming up, and they wanted to achieve something like this, what would your advice be to some of the younger players coming up?
The first advice I have for anybody is to stay in school.
Okay.
There's such a small set of people who have the good luck and good fortune I do, and I know that. And when you have all the security behind you, the security of a great family, the security of your education, and your well-being, then it makes things of this nature, it makes it more feasible, more realistic. You can be a success at it because you don't have all your chips in one basket. But the fact of the matter is, this, along with anything you do in life, you absolutely give a 110% effort, you focus, and most importantly, you embrace your failure. Every time you fail, you embrace it because you should have learned from that failure. You should have learned from the failure. You should have learned from the failure. And each time you learn, you get that much closer to success.
Okay.
You can't be afraid to fail. One time, I said I was going to get a particular score, and I played a game, and I played a game, and I played a game, and I played it 94 times.
Wow.
In order to get that score, and I finally got it. Again, I had to embrace each time and learn each time from it. I've heard that. Not only do I believe that, but that's been shared with me by great athletes, and so I certainly believe it, and I actually preach it, as you can hear.
Okay. So, in a few words, stay in school, don't give up, and persistence.
Absolutely.
Okay.
In anything you do it to 110% of your ability. Don't ever do something halfway. You're only cheating yourself, and you're only cheating the opportunities or the doors that'll open in the future. Always. Think about it when you're in school. If you're sitting in class and something's going on, you have a test or a quiz coming, and you're not prepared or you haven't worked at it, man, it sucks just sitting in that chair. But when you know you're ready, when you have your guns loaded, you sit in that chair and you're as cocky as can be because you know you're ready and you know you're going to succeed. Absolutely. It's the same thing with gaming or really anything in life.
Okay. Well, Billy, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Yeah.
And good luck with that perfect score in a few minutes, and I'm sure you'll get that without any difficulty.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Very good.
Thanks, bro.
You're very welcome.
Hi, I'm here with Eric Jacobs, and Eric has some very amazing Star Wars items here. So, Eric, can you tell us what you have going on over here?
Sure. We're with the Teresa Sandra Jacobs Foundation. So we're like, I guess you can call it an intergalactic mobile experience. So what we do is we have some really cool props that we've built. Should we start outside?
All right, I'm here with Eric Jacobs. Eric, tell us about your organization and tell us what we're looking at here.
Sure. I'm with the Teresa Sandra Jacobs Foundation. This was created after my mom passed away from cancer 2 years ago. I've been a Star Wars fan for my whole life, obviously, and I started building this truck about 4 years ago, and it's called the Death Star. And after she passed, we wanted to carry her name out. She was an artist, and she was the most amazing person in the world, and so we wanted to do something in tribute to her. So we created the Teresa Sandra Jacobs Foundation, and it's an intergalactic mobile experience. So what that does is we bring out cool props like, Death Star with the turbo laser to organizations like we were at the Children's Inn at NIH a few weeks ago. And I'm also in the 501st, all dressed in character. But we're really a prop building group that brings these props, like these vehicles. We have 2 vehicles and a whole bunch of props, and we'll show some of them inside. What we can create either from scratch, like we did with this one, which is the turbo laser we built in for this truck. And this one is a really cool prop, but we can't use the smoke machine that's inside it because when the doors open here, it brings in all this fog that it creates, and it can set the alarms off. So I can't show its full glory, but on our website we do have that. But this is remote control. So I do all the paint work and design work on this. We had some other people help us do the construction of the actual design, but a great guy, Felix, he actually is the engineer behind it, the aerospace engineer actually. He did the control systems and remote control. So we can turn this thing, left and right, and we push the button here. It technically will fire a 3-second sequence, and it'll shoot this out with recoil. And the cannons go up and down, go left and right. And it also has other sound systems like the alarm that you'd hear on the Death Star, right? So imagine this with smoke, it lights up everything. So it's a really cool prop. The truck itself, let me turn that down. The truck itself has a couple cool things that it does. You can see inside.
Okay. So let's follow Eric inside to see what the inside of the truck looks like.
So it has so this is obviously not stock. We took a civilian Hummer H1, which I got here, and we just supersized it. We put huge tires, and we did a fender flares. We upgraded the motor because the motor blew. So we got about
inside
700 pounds of torque.
You can commentate while the camera looks
And
inside.
this one has security systems to Darth Vader's chest plate inside, and what that does, it's not just for looks, it's functional. So it sets to all the LED, that's a lighting kit for all the underneath the carriage of the truck. The other one has a train horn, it has all the LEDs, and it has a smoke system and smoke machine. So we can put a ton of smoke out, about 2,500 cc's of smoke, 25,000, sorry, out of the base here. So it's all piped out and plumbed with it basically will smoke this whole area, and that's what we didn't want to have happen. Wow. But this one has a smaller smoke machine inside, about a 400-watt system, which it does about 3,000 CFM.
So Eric, you have more models inside, right?
Yeah.
So can you kind of walk us through inside and see what we have going on over there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's turn this thing up and watch.
Okay. Awesome. That's good.
Going inside?
Yeah. We're back with Eric Jacobs. So Eric, tell us what we're looking at here.
Yeah. So This is just a Darth Maul. He's a collector piece from Pepsi Cola. This is from a long time ago, but this is just a number piece that we have. But people like to take pictures, so we have the backdrop so people can take pictures of Darth Maul, and I guess we can move on to.
Okay. Yeah. So this is amazing. I mean, how long did it take to create something like this?
So this was a Millennium Falcon Extraordinaire. So there's only a few hundred of these that were actually 700 technically from Toys R Us 20 years ago. 500 were given away, and then many of them got destroyed. But this was one of the pieces that we got lucky enough to get, and we took this one down, took everything apart, put resin inside it, and we recreated this with a smoke system, sound system, and lighting kit. And obviously the weathering and the painting and stuff like that we used. These were actually from my mom's art supplies.
Wow. So Eric, then over here I see you have a R2-D2.
Well, I'll just turn this thing on real quick.
Okay. So.
See how this thing.
Okay.
It's all a remote control hotkey. So. Okay, and then we also have some of the other models over here that we have lighting kits and sound kits. This is kind of a. If you want to take a real quick picture of how we take these apart. So this is what we'll do. We'll take some of these electronics out of some of these storytellers, and we'll build them in here with a sound system and remote control, so we can set off all these things. This is in process of building. Okay.
Wow. That's amazing. Wow.
So then we have R2. Obviously R2. He's fully mobile. We also are finishing up this weekend. One of our we have amazing volunteers, and one of our volunteers is finishing off our full-size BB-8. He was supposed to be debuted this weekend here, but unfortunately they're just finishing the paint work today and this weekend, so he'll be fully functional driving unit. So we just have some Jawas here, and these are the X-Wings that I painted these with the same art supplies from my mom. And we're raffling off 50/50s, and we're doing the money that we generate from the sales from these X-Wings and 50/50 raffles. We give back to, like for example, at the NIH, we bought dozens and dozens of toys and stuffed animals, and what we'll do is we'll give all those to the kids and for that experience. So we brought the truck up and had a great time. So that's like what our nonprofit does here.
Okay. Eric, thanks so much. So if someone wanted to get involved, would they just buy a raffle ticket? Can you just kind of walk us through a little bit of how this works?
Sure. So this is a 50/50 raffle. So we have different pricing for a different number of tickets, and what will happen is at the end of the event tomorrow, we're going to draw a winner, and that winner gets half the proceeds, and the other half gets donated to our nonprofit, so we can put it back into this to buy more toys and cool stuff for kids. And same thing with this. These are just straight sales, and money goes right into the nonprofit. So,
Well, Eric, thanks so much, and this is beyond amazing.
Yeah,
thanks for coming out here and showcasing this fantastic work of Star Wars for all the fans and hopefully future to be fans.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Very much.
Got it? Hi. I'm here with Osiris, and Osiris, your name has a very special meaning, I understand. So tell us a little bit of what your name means.
It means Egyptian god.
Egyptian god. Okay, but today you're not an Egyptian god. Today you are Doctor Strange, right? Okay, so talk a little bit about why you chose Doctor Strange from all the different Marvel characters or DC characters or just all the characters in general.
I like magic, and I wanted to wear a cape.
Okay, so why not like a Superman, for example?
I feel like Superman is like not that like fun.
Okay, so Doctor Strange is a little bit cooler, right? Okay, so I see it here. You have what is this called again?
The Emerald.
Emerald. Okay, so with the Infinity Stone in the middle, right? And how did you make this yourself? How did you get this?
My mom made it.
Thanks, Mom. Okay. So we're back with Osiris. Now, Osiris, have you seen any of the Marvel films? Here, what's your favorite one?
The newest Avengers Endgame.
Endgame. Okay. Was it pretty long?
Yeah, like 3 hours.
Okay, good. So you know there's one coming out today, right? Called Dark Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You gonna watch that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Can I come with you?
No.
No. Okay. Next time. Okay, so one more question. Do you have a special pose that you want to show everyone? Like a very awesome, cool Doctor Strange pose? All right, that's it. Great. So I'm here in the arcade with the arcade buffet.
Yeah, the arcade buffet. Yeah.
So all these machines are yours. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got into, acquiring all these machines and your journey through this entire process?
Well, it kind of starts off. It's a fairly long story, but the short version is when I was a kid, I never got to go into an 80s arcade. I've never been in one, which is kind of sad. But when I was out with mom and pop, I used to watch them at grocery stores and all that stuff all the time, and never had any money to play. So kind of, shortchanged as a kid, kind of thing. But so later in life, I found out that, I could own them, and I said to myself one day, I'm going to own a machine. And I said, well, I finally got one around, 99 or so. And, well, it's grown to this day since. So I'm like, I got them, and here they are. So fast forward to now, and I've gotten a master collection, and I enjoy bringing them to conventions for people to play and have fun and smile and have relive their childhood. So that's kind of what it is and how it progressed to here. So
and let me ask you, how did you get the name the Arcade Buffet?
Well, it's a play on some things. Play on me kind of way is I like to eat. So you call me buffet. Well, and when you go into an arcade, it's very boring if you have all of the same game or the same genre or all the same type. So my collection consists of many, many, many different types: fighters and shooters and shmups and beat 'em ups and just maze and platforming and all that stuff. So you can walk into places when I bring them to conventions or anywhere like that and have a buffet of things to play. So everybody is happy. There's classics, there's fighters, there's shooters, there's rail shooter, all kinds of stuff. So it just makes it fun.
Okay, well, Mr. Buffet, if I may call you that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, thanks so much for bringing all these games. His character, he is the Green Ranger. So, Quad, let me ask you, how did you, of all the Rangers, why did you choose the Green Ranger?
It's a funny little story because all of my cousins, when we were growing up back in Power Ranger was a big show. And when I got home from school, all 5 of my cousins already picked all the colors. So it was a regional 5. So going down or going up? And then they came out with the Green Ranger, so I was like, okay, I'll be the evil Green Ranger. And then somehow he became the most popular. And it just stuck with throughout my childhood. Green green car, green like literally everything I had is green.
So why this Green Ranger versus, let's say, another Green Ranger with the season? Why Tommy?
The original I grew up with. It's like I was born in '89, and growing up watching him, like I watched both.
Going up or going down?
I think it's the Japanese, both versions, like the Japanese and the US. There's a lot of difference between them, but like I love how Jason David Frank played Tommy Oliver. Yeah, me too. It's just like instant classic, and when I grew up, I was like, I want to be a Power Ranger, but the only Power Ranger that I would ever want to be is Green Ranger, so I had to go and get it one night. I can't afford it.
So here at the Comic Con, there's lots of impressive costumes, but I think your costume might be one of the better ones I've seen. So can you just kind of guide us through how you got to make this? How did you go about having this? This looks original.
Yeah, it's actually my commission. Having cosplay to make this, and he's actually officially licensed by Saban to do the costume now. And how good he is. And the helmet, the suit, the shield, and the boots, the gloves, all made by Anarchy Cosplay. And it took a while, but it took a lot of back and forth between emails and stuff, but finally, because he's in Taiwan, when I couldn't be happier with like the result. And, I got a lot of confidence.
So are you from Taiwan?
No, I'm from Vietnam.
Okay.
But originally, I actually just got this today. The dagger. But originally, I didn't have one, so I made one myself, and it's actually in my bag. It's the 3D handmade, painted. So everything is. I'm so glad that I finally have an updated version of it.
So can you show us? I think for me personally, the original Green Ranger was definitely one of my favorites as well. So I don't know because he's evil. I don't know. I like that too. But I'm very impressed by the sword. Can you kind of show us the sword?
Well,
maybe a few moves and kind of show us a couple of.
I can try, but this sword is actually not the original Sword of Darkness. It's actually one that I found at AwesomeCon, and it just looks so good. It reminds me of the Sword of Darkness, so I just went with it. But I still want to modify it a little bit so that it fits the Green Ranger a bit better. But I figured since it's the updated version, the Bat and the Sun version, instead of the original Green Classic, I went with an upgraded Sword of Darkness.
Wow. Okay. So were you entering any kind of like cosplay or costume or contest or anything like that?
Probably not this time because it's so hot now. I just want to like get ready for the party tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay. Well, I'd say if there's a contest, get my vote. This is awesome. This is awesome. So yeah, this is for me. It's awesome to kind of see that. Nobody knows it. So thank you. Yeah.